Hi, I'm Kyle Whitmire. I'm with the Alabama Media Group. Today we're here with Joe Songer at Joe's beautiful outdoor office. I now understand why you work from home so much. We all sort of work from home, but your outdoor office is a lot different than my outdoor office.
Yeah, it's pretty special.
This is really gorgeous out here. The reason we're out here today is on Saturday, the Alabama Natural Resources and Conservation Board voted unanimously to let hunters use suppressors, or as most people call them, silencers, while they hunt. And I kind of thought this is a little bit nutty. You know, you normally think of suppressors or silencers, you think of mafia movies or spy movies, but there might be good reasons for doing that. And Joe, you have a suppressor.
Yeah, I do.
Why would somebody want to use a suppressor when they hunt?
Well, I bought mine because I've always wanted one. I live in an area where I have neighbors, but I have a safe place to shoot. And I just thought it'd be nice to have one. You can, especially on certain calibers, I mean, you can basically make it completely silent. And we'll see that in a video later. But, you know, it's not having to don the ear protection in 95-degree heat. You know, you don't have to put the headphones on. You don't have to put the foam in your ears. It's just, you know, even in Europe, suppressors they're considered a courtesy.
Right.
I mean, you know, if you own a gun in Europe, you can do basically whatever you want to it once you own it. And, you know, it's a courtesy. And, you know, when you're at the range, if, you know, you're by yourself, if you're out, you just don't have to put all that stuff on. And if you do shoot near, you know, other people, you know, other neighbors, of which mine are about 1/8 of a mile away or something.
You do have neighbors out here, but
they're a ways off. But you don't hear the crack. You know, you just don't hear the sound, and that brings up, you know.
Well, what are the potential drawbacks to allowing hunting with suppressors?
When I heard this early in the week, the thing that got me was, oh my God, poachers! It's going to be a field day for poachers. Because let's say you know, you're going to break the law, break the hunting laws in this state. You're going to go out and spotlight deer. You're going to go out and do whatever. You know, the only thing you're going to see now is the light. You're not going to hear the crack.
Right.
You're not going to hear the report of a gun going off. It's going to be very silent. And, you know, the other thing about a suppressor, you really can't tell where the sound originated from. If the bullet goes supersonic, which most do, you hear it when it breaks the sound barrier, and you really can't tell, especially if you're in an area like this where there's mountains and we have some bluffs here. You can't tell where it's coming from.
Well, okay, so you have a suppressor.
Yes, I do.
And as you've explained to me, it's not easy to get one. And just because this is now legal in Alabama to hunt with one doesn't mean that every Joe Blow out there is going to be doing this next hunting season.
It's a laborious process. It requires lots of paperwork. This is my NFA for that one particular suppressor.
I think you described it to me as a full cavity search.
Full cavity search. Basically what I had to go through was 6 months and 2 weeks of paperwork, waiting, questions answered. I had to be fingerprinted by the sheriff. Number two, he has to approve it. So if he doesn't want you to have a suppressor, you're not going to get one because he won't sign off. His signature has to be on here. Then you're talking about money. My suppressor is for a .22 long rifle, so it's one of the cheaper ones. It was $190. I had to pay for it up front, including, when I filled this out, a $200 tax stamp for the federal government. So
your tax stamp was actually more than
my tax stamp was more than the suppressor was. And you have to pay for all that up front. When you make application, you have to write a check for $200 and send it off with fingerprints, a photo, like a passport photo, and they go through the full background check. So it is a cavity search. I mean, they know more about me than my wife does, probably in some respects.
Well, you've got this paper here with you. Could you talk a little bit about that? Because not only do you have to go through this process, but once you have the suppressor and once you have all this paperwork, you have to keep this with you, right?
And that's the law. If wherever I take the suppressor, this form with my picture has to be with me at all times. If I go to the rifle range and shoot, it has to be with me. Now that we're able to hunt, this better be on your person.
Right.
Because they're going to want to know, if they see you're hunting with a suppressor, they're going to want to see this ATF and FBI documentation, that it's legal, that I paid the tax stamp. I think that's more of it than anything.
The government gets their money first, right?
And then your hunting license doesn't have a picture on it, but this does.
Mm-hmm. So you can't give this to someone else. No. You couldn't loan it to someone else for them to.
If this suppressor is being used, I have to be there with the documentation. So it's not anything that you're just going to go out and say, hey, I think I'll go down to the local gun store and buy a suppressor for my 270. That's not the way it works. You have to go, number one, all suppressors are different. Mm-hmm. They're designed, they have different threads for different guns. You have to go in and know what you're buying and have really an expert help you purchase it.
And if you get another one,
go through all this again.
You have to go through all that again.
Go all through all this again. $200 tax stamp, have to be re-fingerprinted, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it's a separate thing for each suppressor, and that goes for some vintage firearms. That goes for any automatic weapon, which are next to impossible to get.
Right.
You almost,
And if you don't have this with you
reason.
and you get caught not without this, do you know what happens to you?
Well, it's a federal offense.
Okay, so you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Okay.
It is a federal offense. Now, I'm glad people that see my blog and know me know that I'm glad that the advisory board did this. But it's not going to be something that you're just going to go out and be able to buy. You're going to have to really think about what you're doing. Make sure you be ready to spend some money. Mm-hmm. I mean, whatever the suppressor costs, it's $200 more than that. And then you're talking about, right now it's about a 5 to 7 month wait. Mine was 6 months and 2 weeks.
Well, Joe, thanks for sitting down with me out here and inviting me out here to your beautiful place. I hope that some folks learned something from this, and I can't wait to shoot the next video when we try one of these out.
We're going to try one out, and we're going to let you see exactly what they do.